Hey, it's Tuesday, Total Schmidt Show. I'm in Mexico. Let's do this. Hey guys, welcome to the Total Schmidt Show. We're moving quick today. Moving quick these days. Let's keep it tight. Let's get right to it. Before we get going, do me a favor. Give the video a thumbs up. Do it now before you watch it and you realize it's not good. Down here should be a little box with my face that you could also subscribe to the channel. Here's the deal, man. I get those numbers. If you subscribe, you like, all those numbers add up. They work out for me. They don't cost you nothing. But I get, it works with the YouTube presidents. I guess they're in charge of stuff. So subscribe to the channel. Do that. Follow me on social media. Mr. Lenny Schmidt. All the information will run throughout the podcast. You can see it in the bio and the index, or you can see it in the information in the video. Check it out. Also, if you really dig what we do, join the Patreon page, man. You get all kinds of cool perks. You get free tickets to shows, live streaming shows. You get a whole bunch of stuff. It's all Mr. Lenny Schmidt. Go to Patreon, look for Mr. Lenny Schmidt, and you'll find it all there. Brittany Hydra. She is either a cruise director or a villain in Marvel Universe. You get to figure out which one it is. Actually, she's a cruise director. She's only the 4th cruise director I've had on these shows, man, in over 300 podcasts. She's the 4th cruise director. She's fantastic. She was great to work with. I worked with her on the Celebrity Reflection. She's from Canada. She actually is in between shifts. She's getting ready to retire. I'm going to let her tell you all about it. But we really got to talk a little bit about the cruise directors on these cruise. I'm amazed at the cruise directors on these cruise lines, man. These guys, if you cruise, I don't think you get it. They're on 24 hours a day, like 24 hours a day. They walk out of their cabin and everybody knows who they are. And then they do that for 7 days or however long the cruise is. And then you leave and they do it again for another week. And it's really impressive. They have a lot of energy. They're great. And Brittany was fantastic. She does everything, man. She sang in a show with the captain that they do here on Celebrity. She was really, really awesome. So I asked her to do the show and she said yes. I couldn't believe it. Mostly cruise directors. I stopped asking because sometimes there's a corporate thing and they're like, well, I can't really get paperwork approved. And she was all over it. So either this is going to go great or she's going to get fired. And that's not going to happen because she's retiring. So either way, sit back and enjoy my conversation with Brittany Hydra. Okay, I didn't do any research on you. And normally I tell everyone the same thing.
Yeah.
We already talked about this a little bit. I just talk about anything you want to talk about. I love talking about entertainment, behind the scenes.
Great.
First of all, thanks for doing this.
Of course.
This is really awesome.
Baby's first podcast.
Is it your first podcast ever?
Yeah.
You've never been on one?
Never been on a podcast.
That's a big thing now, the podcast thing.
I know. It's really cool. And I have a few that I follow and watch, but never been on one.
You were talking about doing your own when you get out of here, right?
Yes. I've been thinking about it. So I love hosting, discovered a love for hosting through my job in the ships, and thinking about starting a little podcast, just like not quite like this. This is a cool format. I love what you've got going on here, but the one I want to do is more like a mindset type of thing, like not a meditation or anything like that, but just like hey, here's your thought for the day as you get ready in the morning, and let's think about these things and just sort of to reset the mind.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Kind of like a mental health, well-being, or
well-being more so, because I found that my brain, and I'm sure so many people, is really susceptible to what you take in. So if you see a lot of media or a lot of content that's like, depression and ADHD, and here's all the sad stuff going on in the world, and here's this tragic news story, and there's this guy doing this bad thing, my brain would get caught in those loops.
Yeah.
And every time I took in media that was more positive and more influential, I was like, oh, okay, cool, this is a better way to look at the world. And it just let me get through my day.
It's power of attraction thing.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't remember the guy's name off the top of my head. I had to look it up. There's a book, the guy that was on Real Time, Bill Maher's show.
Okay.
And he talked about he was also on Rogan's show, the advantages and the disadvantages of therapy, and how we've jumped the shark almost to where there's too much therapy. Like if you go every day and you talk about the bad things that happen in your life, you're constantly living this funk of bad things that happen in your life. Where I'm always like, think of the positive, think of the good. Like it's okay to think about the bad things and deal with them and heal through them, but then not dwell in them. Like too many people dwell in their sadness and they go, and they believe that's who they are. They go, oh, I'm just, that's just who I am. And you're like, no, you actually can be whoever you want to be.
Change that mindset. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy, isn't it?
Yeah.
So if you tell yourself you're in a bad mood or you're in a funk or you can't do this thing, then of course you're not going to.
No, it's a power. Well, again, power of attraction, and the mind is way more powerful. You know what? Look at it from another negative standpoint. I always use this example. It's horrible. Prison.
Okay.
If you were in prison for the rest of your life, you would have to mentally adjust to the fact that you were going to be living in this cell for the rest of your life. I mean, you'd have to do that. As opposed to, and cruise ships is it's a different lifestyle.
It's not prison. But.
I'll get there, trust me. But it's not prison, but it's a completely different lifestyle than living on land.
Absolutely. We call it ship life.
It's called ship life.
Hashtag ship life.
And for you guys, especially your job, I've always been amazed and mesmerized by cruise directors.
Well, thank you.
You guys carry the whole load, and you're on 24/7.
It's a very public role. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes, but it's very public. Lots, people come on these cruises who save for years and years to come on a cruise of a lifetime.
Right.
And for me, it's another cruise, and I'm going to do it again next week, and again next week, and again next week. But the more you remember,
I want to double check. I want to be able to see that. Okay.
So the more you remember that these people are here for their one and only cruise, that really helps to motivate me, because it's like, okay, I've got Samantha in the audience who saved for 2 years for this. She's here with her boyfriend. This is their cruise, their highlight of their year.
Yeah.
I gotta bring them a good experience. I gotta make sure they're having a good time.
Yeah, and it's hard. Two things about that. One is hard. It's not hard, but it's I don't even want to say it's difficult. Well, it's your job. Like today's turnaround day.
Yeah.
And it's even harder on the 3-4 days.
Yeah.
Because you're doing turnaround day, which turnaround day is when everybody gets on and more people get on.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone gets off. Brand new guests get on board.
Yeah.
So we got to say goodbye to everyone, make sure they end with a little cherry on top, and then get the new guests on board. I'm talking like 3,500 people moving on and off this vessel, and then get them on board, get them settled, get to your room, get your first drink, get up to the pool, start with a bang. Here's the energy, just like we said, starting your day. Here's the energy we're starting your cruise with.
Right.
This is the step we're putting.
This is day one. And plus, this is what they look. Every minute they get on the ship, it's like.
Yeah.
The food, wow, the thing, I saw that in the video. And so this is the beginning. So you've kind of come into it with that much energy.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So you guys are constantly on a high energy thing. Another comparison to that is I always think of two things. I've seen Bruce Springsteen like 11 times.
Okay.
And he does Born to Run every show. And somebody asked him, he's like, you do Born to Run, how many times have you done it? He goes, I have no idea how many times I've done that show. And you go, doesn't that bore you? He's like, no, because every time I do it, I think there's one person in that stadium that's never seen it live.
It's never seen it live.
And and they've been dying to see that song. It's been their whole life.
Yeah.
And if you went up there and just mail it in or didn't do it, how horrible would be that?
Absolutely, yeah. And I think you got to have a passion for it as well. So he obviously has a passion for performing and for music. Same way I love it. When I get up on stage, it just like electrifies my whole body. Right. This is where I know, this brings me joy. It brings me fulfillment. And that really helps. I don't think I could do it and fake it. And force it.
No, because crowds can tell when you're faking stuff.
Oh, 100%.
They can totally tell if you're mailing it in. They're like, okay,
great.
Then you lose.
She doesn't want to be here.
It's because you carry the energy at the beginning of every show.
It's true.
The whole cruise, you're the backbone of the entire thing. So I don't know. That's why I don't know how you do it. It's like you're always bubbly and hey. I think you go back to your cabin, you unplug a battery, and
you do
and just slowly decompress.
Yeah. Well, a bit of that, but it genuinely just is my personality. I've had friends come on board, and my mom has cruised a whole bunch of times, and people will get to know my family or whoever on board and say, okay, is that how she really is? And that's just how I am. Like it comes naturally to me, which really is a huge help.
Well, that's true, because most cruise directors I know are like that.
Yeah.
Most of them, they enjoy it. They love it. They love being up there, the center of attention, driving the show, and bringing that energy all the time. You know what I mean?
Ironically, I don't love being the center of attention.
Shut up. You whatever.
I don't. That part doesn't come naturally to me. It's the enthusiasm that does come naturally, in the communication. I have a Bachelor of Arts in Communication. Like, I know how to communicate information to a crowd. But I don't like when I know people in the audience. How do you feel about that?
I hate it.
Right.
I hate it. I would prefer a stadium full of people I don't know.
100%.
I do a new a special like every year and a half, or whatever, and I tape it in Chicago.
Oh, very cool.
And the first taping is always, it's filled with people I know. And I'm like, oh God, I really wish these people weren't here.
Like, thank you so much for supporting me, but could you not make eye contact?
The whole front row is people I've grown up with. I'm like, hey, Eddie, how are you? What's up?
Exactly.
Good to see you guys.
Because I think it's so nerve-wracking because they have a preconceived notion of who you are.
Right.
And who you're going to be. And this is like a timestamp for them in the moment. And you're out there doing your thing. It's a very vulnerable thing to be on stage.
Right.
And these people know you.
Right.
I don't like.
Well, I think I've gotten lucky because I have talked I think we become disconnected to it because we perform every day.
Fair enough. Yeah.
So we, like, even in, like, when I play Dallas once a year, I go back to Dallas and go, God, what did I do last time I was here? And then I forget, they're not going to remember. People don't.
True.
Some people want to see the same bit or whatever.
That's true.
But a lot of people, more people understand. Like, I've been surprised at how many people understand what I do. They're not in the entertainment business. Yeah. You know what I mean? They're really cool about it.
That's great.
Yeah, they come to shows. I have a lot of friends that come and they pay for the show because a lot of people call me up and they want comps and stuff. But I have a lot of friends that have paid for every show and they come out.
Aww.
They support, but they really understand the whole. I've had some pretty conversations with them, which are really interesting. That they understand that I do that for a living.
That's so interesting because I feel like a lot of people wouldn't. People definitely don't understand what I do back home.
Right.
Yeah, just
there's
the
a
ship
huge
on
chunk
top
that
of
don't.
everything. Yeah.
Well, plus also they don't comprehend. Like, people also think sometimes. Like when I'm on TV, people see me on TV. Like when every time I'm on, people go, "Dude, you must be rolling in it."
Right.
I go, "No, we're not rolling in it."
TV equals millions, Lenny. Come on.
Yeah, right. Just because you're on TV, lots of people are on TV.
Yeah, right.
So they don't understand the business structure of it. And even on a bigger scale, like people, I remember when Jim Carrey first got $10 million for a movie, people were like, "Why does he get that much money?" And I go, when you break it down, he only gets just under $2 million.
Yeah, right.
You
when
know,
he pays all of his people,
taxes, lawyer, accountants. I mean, you get a whole team of people. So, and I mean, $2 million is nothing to sneeze at. But
well, no.
Still, everybody's got staff and people, so they don't understand the hierarchy of the whole entertainment business.
And there's a lot that goes into getting him to that spot.
Oh no, the career into it, like the acting class and all the comics generally say, whatever we make now here, I paid for on the road for 8 or 9 years.
Right,
living out of my car.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure. Yeah,
So,
it's not just here in that moment. He didn't walk into a room and get a $10 million.
And I go, "Hey, I'm a comic."
Hey guys.
Well, did you do any type of entertainment before you get a bachelor's in communication?
I have a bachelor's in communication. I worked at CTV, which is a big old TV conglomerate in Canada.
Canada, right?
Yeah, Canadian television. And I did it was promotions coordinator. So I did all the behind the scenes, the marketing, the contesting, the ticket giveaways, the events, that kind of thing. But I was never a host. I was never in front of the screen. Because every time we had an event where somebody needed to speak on a microphone or a commercial to film or anything on a microphone, we had professional radio and TV hosts that did that. So they took care of all that. And I was just the face-to-face girl. I'll check you in. Here's your drink tickets and go have a good time.
Plus, you're getting into unions too, right?
I wasn't in the union.
No, but if you're doing on-camera stuff, if I'm correct, there's a union, SAG, same thing.
Yep, absolutely.
So you don't get on camera unless you're in the union.
You could do certain things.
Right.
It wasn't quite as strict, but I couldn't get paid to be on the camera.
Right.
Or paid to be on a microphone.
Right.
So then when I got on the ship the first time and they handed me a microphone, I said, "What? I don't know what to do with this."
Wait, aren't you to prove stuff?
Yeah, I was terrified because I'd never done it. That's not
so
for me in my 6-year career before getting to a ship.
I want to edit in a clip of you on stage now when you go, "I was terrified." You're like, "Hey, everybody!"
Hey guys!
Just all smiling.
I don't do peace signs on stage. To be clear, for those of you who are watching.
That's just it's an exaggeration.
Yeah, but yeah, now you just you get used to it.
How long have you been a cruise director here?
Almost 2 years. This summer will be 2 years.
All right. So you're quick in and out because you're leaving, right?
I am. Okay. Yes, I'm retiring, if you will.
Good for you.
It's not. It's nothing to do with my job. I love my job so much, but I want to have a family.
Sure.
And I want to have a home and all these things that a life on the road doesn't necessarily afford.
Right.
Yeah. So I've got a couple more weeks left to go, and I've told them, I've set it up in a way where I can come back and do, short little fill-ins here and there if you need it, because it's so tough to get away. This ship life, as we said, it's a whole different world, and to completely walk away from that, I don't know if I could do that.
Yeah.
So I love it, but
it'll be a tough adjustment to go back. Although, a month in, you never know. You'll be itching to come back,
It might be, and this is why I want to very much play it by ear. Like, this is my plan now, but who knows in 3-4 months' time what actually turns out. Or I could get a great gig on land. You never know.
Yeah.
Figure something out.
Well, it seems like you can make the best out of wherever you're at.
Thank you. I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. Yeah, I'm very open-minded at the moment.
Are you going back to, you live in Canada?
The plan is to go to Toronto. Yeah, I would love to end up in like an LA or a Vegas,
Okay.
but those
Vegas
require
is great.
visas. Yeah,
What?
Vegas.
Oh, you need visa. Oh,
You
you
need a visa to work there. Yeah, I'm Canadian, so.
Huge pain in the ass. I
Yeah.
have a lot of, all my friends, Brent and Sarah, magicians?
No.
I don't know if they do celebrity. They're on a bunch of other shifts, but they
Okay.
they're citizens, live in Toronto, have a
Okay.
house in Florida,
Okay.
and they can only stay for so long. It's a whole thing.
Yeah, it's a whole thing, and they can't work, or maybe they have a certain visa, but you can't work or get paid in the country.
No. They can work at chips, but they
Yeah,
can't.
Yeah, ships is different because it's international.
Yeah, but that gives them the leeway to get into the country for a short period of time and then get out.
Makes sense.
I
Yeah.
think that's the deal.
Yeah.
But it's a huge pain as far as working with. It was the other way. I never worked much in Canada, but you were supposed to have, for us, we needed a work permit or something to go up there.
Yeah, some sort of work, not a green card, but like a work.
Right.
Yeah, permit probably.
Did you where did you go to college at?
University of Ottawa,
Okay.
Ottawa U.
Did you do theater or anything in high school?
I did a little bit of theater I did drama class in high school and ended up in a couple of productions, but it was more what I could fit around my sports. I
Yeah.
played volleyball and baseball and football and all sorts of things, so I was very busy with sports, and if drama club worked around that, then I would do it. Like I
Right.
did 1 or 2 productions, things like that, but I was more sports girly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have brothers or sisters?
Got a brother. He works in construction. But no one in my family has any kind of performing background or anything like that. It kind of threw the family for a loop. They knew I would go and travel. I've always talked about traveling. I'm sure they knew I would go and travel, but kind of threw everyone for a loop, me being somehow up on stage. And
You could totally do a travel podcast type of thing.
yeah, I'd love that.
And I love that idea. I love the idea, the positive momentum of the state of mind thing,
Right? Yeah.
which is a lesson I'm trying to go through with my daughters constantly on a daily basis.
Is it?
Yeah, well, the pressure, these kids in their 20s these days, or early 20s, man, that generation, that anxiety it's incredible what they go through.
It's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Like growing up with the phones in their hands and the social
Yeah,
media.
that's the
just
problem.
Rampant.
It's like the constant, and they're constant, and like getting back to what we said earlier, the therapy thing. Like I'm sure, like I don't want to be that boomer dad. Like, suck it up, deal with it. Life is tough.
Yeah.
But on some level, you got to go, suck it up, deal with it. Life is tough. It doesn't stop. But I think they get so deep into therapy that therapy becomes your life.
Yeah.
And people embrace that negative. And like my youngest goes to, both of them go to therapy. But my youngest goes a lot. She just broke up with another boyfriend.
Oh, bless her. I know that feeling.
Yeah.
Happens.
Yeah, I don't know. That's what I've heard.
Yeah, that's what caused me to get my first therapist.
Well,
it was a big breakup.
but it's good. Therapy's good though.
It's good. You get to talk it out, but I think you're absolutely right. Like you can't get too stuck into it at some point. It's so tough to say with this, like the new generation.
Right.
The whole suck it up and deal with it thing, because we just don't know. I think it's so unique the way that they're growing up, even to the way I grew up. I didn't really get computers or social media till I was well into high school.
Right.
So I missed out on that, but their formative years are all about what their peers see, and I think
Yeah.
it's just a different wiring of a brain.
24 hours. It's 24-hour peer pressure.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what it is. Like
That's
on
what
this,
it is,
it's my last album. I just did a whole thing about. I talked a lot about it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how they did it.
Yeah.
When I look back when I grew up, we didn't have, I didn't have any social media. I had nothing.
You leave the house and you're out of the house for 8 hours.
Yeah.
You're just not reachable.
Yeah, and if you screwed up, like if you remember, I don't know if you like if you screwed up, like if you did something bad in town and nobody liked you, you can just move to another town.
Yeah,
and
just
become
anonymous.
Start over.
Yep, absolutely.
You can't do that anymore either.
No,
You know what I mean?
follows you.
People are on top of it, but I think I think it's really important. I love the idea of the positive podcast thing, because I believe in a pendulum swing, which means we do a bunch of stuff, and then we go, oh, we're not doing this, and then we go too far over and do too much of it. And I kind of think that might be where we're at with therapy now, where people are like, well, you got to get deep into your sadness and fight, and relive it or whatever. I go, I don't know if you need to relive it. I read a book called The Sedona Method,
Okay.
which is probably the book that saved my life. When I went through my
Really?
divorce, it was not a good time. I didn't handle my
Yeah.
divorce well.
Makes sense.
And the Sedona Method was it's a simple process that teaches you that emotional pain is not very different from physical pain.
Okay.
Okay? Like if you break a leg, it's going to hurt, and
Yeah.
you got to heal it.
Right.
Well, emotional pain is the same thing. Too many people get hurt emotionally, and then they just try to toughen it up. That's what hurts you.
Right.
That's what hurts your soul. That's
Yep.
what hurts your heart and your body. And then if your mind is there, you're constantly in this negative thing.
absolutely.
So we spent too many years not focusing on mental health, and now I think sometimes, I don't want to say we're focusing too much on it, but I don't know if the approach is correct. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally know what you mean, and it's, if you get, I think it really is what goes in comes out.
Sure.
So if it's all negativity and focusing on problems and focusing on issues and how do I fix, pushing out is just going to be, I need to fix things, something's wrong.
Right.
That's what's going to, filter through your brain. So if you start filtering in a bit of positivity and like, okay, here's my focus of the day. I'm going to choose joy. I'm going to look at a situation, and today what I'm going to do is I'm going to look around me and find one thing that makes me happy in this room, or some sort of approach for the day.
Right.
That helps to reset the mind. And, problems are still going to come up throughout the day, and you may not have a great day. You may have a bad day, but then the next day you try again.
Yeah.
And you start from some up again at least. And if you go down, then okay, we can start from up again.
Well, that's a very being present approach.
Absolutely.
Which is this, are you familiar with the concept of the paper tiger?
Paper tiger, no.
Paper tiger, it's a therapy phrase for your body naturally responds to fear. Like
Okay.
when you're afraid of something or something bad happens,
Yeah.
you get worked up.
Yeah.
So if you're walking through, let's say you're walking through a jungle and there's tigers everywhere, you're aware that there's tigers. Well, those are real tigers. They'll eat you, of course.
Right.
Well, in real life, if you're worried about things like your rent payment, your bill, your jobs, these are things you're focusing on, you're thinking about them, they're fears, but they're not really real, and they're not
Right.
going to hurt you.
Okay.
So that's what the paper tiger is. It's something you're creating in your mind
Yeah.
that's causing you fear and anguish every moment of the day when you don't really need to do it.
It's not like a clear and present danger. It's just
No.
Yeah.
In fact, it's exactly what you're talking about. It's like you talk about getting up and having a positive approach to a day. It's like one of my things my therapist told me was, when you get up in the morning, the first thing you always do is you think about something to stress about. He goes, that's what you do. Don't do it. He goes, try to just be.
Yeah.
Try to be.
Yeah.
So I get up in the morning, I just try to be.
Yeah.
And then I meditate, and I have coffee, and I try to do all that. You know what I mean?
Love meditation.
Yeah,
Are
I
you
just
into
started
it?
doing it.
Do you still do it?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I tried for a long time. During the pandemic, I was home for 18 months.
Sure.
Obviously.
Yeah, you guys are
Ships.
strict up there, right? Well, you're,
Oh, yeah, pretty
but
strict.
you guys can do.
Couldn't
it was
do
tough
very
again,
much
yeah.
at all. Yeah, I couldn't see anybody. I had my best friend and her partner. We were our little bubble, and that's the only people I interacted with
Right.
closer than 6 feet for 18 months. It was wild. But I did try and get into the meditation and just learning more about the way the brain works. But it just never stuck for me. Once I got on a ship, I kind of lost it a little bit because so much of my brain goes toward working. I didn't keep with the habit. But
Right.
So are you doing guided meditations? What do you?
No, I do, and I'm not doing it religiously. I just started doing it a
Okay.
few weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
there's a
Oh,
couple-
still brand new to you.
Yeah, it's really
Okay.
brand new. But I'll do 20 minutes twice a day.
Okay.
And I do the
20. That's a long time.
Well, yeah, but I'm having a hard time doing it.
Oh, well, that's a
Like
long
2
time.
minutes in, I'm
Lenny.
like, what's the Bears score? I'm like, no. Oh,
You gotta watch the
I'm hungry.
car go
No,
by.
I know.
Watch the car go by. Do not get in the car. You watch it go by.
Yeah, right. Just gotta be, just be.
Just be. Acknowledge your thoughts.
Yeah. But when I notice, it helps. I notice the you time thing is, any you time you do for yourself is good.
100%. Even
know?
I was always worried I was doing meditation wrong, quote unquote. But I think it works so long as you're just focusing on you and
Yeah.
being in your brain and being in that moment. Even if it's not for the full 20 minutes.
Right.
It helps to just focus on that.
No, it does. Plus, it's just anything you're doing to pull yourself out of your daily routine is going to be somewhat helpful.
Yeah.
Because it's too easy. Like you said, here's a good example. Work. Like first of all, you work all day.
All day.
I could work. When I'm home, I have to give myself a cutoff time. Like if I don't give myself a cutoff time, I literally could work all night.
Right.
The problem is I'll do that, but then I'll get lazy, and then I won't work for like 2 days. Like,
Okay.
The balance is hard for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if you do things like meditation and you set boundaries, then it becomes easier.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think it with me it's about setting, like, being intentional. Just the act of being intentional to do one thing sort of reminds me that I have power over my decisions, because it's so easy to just like binge a whole bag of chips or be a potato for a day or not work for a day, whatever it might be, and not do the thing.
If nobody misses that, your profile for most of this podcast.
Oh, perfect. Hello, here's my whole face.
And there you go, face to face.
Yeah, it's so easy to just fall into, status quo mode and just roll with whatever, like, what do they call it? Monkey brain. Just first thought that pops in your brain, just do that thing.
Monkey brain?
Monkey brain,
I've never heard that. I
just
love
go
that.
with your baser instincts, My monkey brain just wants chocolate and to sit down on the couch in sweatpants. That's what my monkey brain wants. But
I love your monkey brain.
Right? So good.
We could get
She's
along
wonderful.
great.
But I know that, eating vegetables and being active, going for a walk or getting work done will make me feel accomplished and make me feel good. So I find if I even do a meditation or something simple, choose to be intentional with one thing, it snowballs.
Right.
And I think that's where the whole make your bed in the morning thing comes from.
Yeah.
Have you heard of that one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Make your bed. It's like first task accomplished for the day. It's not about making your bed.
Yeah.
It's about accomplishing one thing and then, maybe I'll accomplish another thing. Ooh.
Yeah, you're getting stuff done. My youngest makes her bed every morning.
Does she?
Yeah, she always has. That's really weird.
What a weirdo.
She's 20. What a weirdo. No, I'll get up because I take her to, when I'm home, she goes to beauty school, and
Very cool.
when I'm home, I drive her to and from school.
Yeah.
We leave around 6, 7 or whatever, and her bed's made. She's ready to go in the morning.
Get it, girl.
Man. Yeah, I'm really impressed. I'm like, man, that's great.
That's such a big indicator to me that you just have your life in order.
Yeah.
You make your bed, man, you got it together.
Yeah, I try to tell her that, like, this, again, back to what we said about the 20-year-olds, they're so hard on themselves.
So hard. Yeah.
Like, I'm very lucky. Both my kids are they're good kids.
Yeah.
And they're really accomplished. But man, when they make a mistake, they just beat the crap out. They're so brutal on themselves. They're just...
Well, they see this life of ideal. All they see on social media is everyone's ideal life. People don't post,
The lie.
They'll post their morning routine, which includes the yoga and the smoothie and the walk. Does
Right.
that happen 100%
Right.
of the days? No, of course
No,
not.
but they won't show 11 o'clock at night doing shots and crying at the table. My life is a lie.
Exactly. Yeah.
Slamming,
Yeah. Which is also the reality sometimes.
Yeah. Well, you don't put that on Instagram.
No, nobody does that. Definitely not.
So you got a cool bunch of cruises coming up, man. Do you have any? Are you gonna? Now, people usually go home. Do you go home and live with your parents, or you have a roommate?
I do, yeah. No, I live with my parents. I lived with my best friend for a long, long time. For
Right.
even a couple years before I got on a ship. She had a big old, beautiful townhome, and I lived with her for a while. When I knew I wanted to work on a ship, I didn't want to sign a lease, so.
Sure.
And we were besties, so we lived together.
Good.
And then recently, just about, nearly 2 years ago now, she went ahead and got married, moved in with her husband, which was rude.
Stupid.
Honestly.
Totally didn't check with you at all.
Didn't check with me at all. No. So I moved my stuff back into Mom's spare room. And I mean, for the amount of time that I am home, maybe 3 weeks every 4 or 5 months, I need a place to live in Canada. So just to get with Mom, and then I don't have to spend money on unnecessary rent or anything like that.
No, that's smart, man. Every single person I know that works on a ship on long-term contracts does that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I did for years. I always had a place because I had the kids for the summer when I was divorced. But now they're in their 20s. I just finished booking. I'm never home.
Yeah.
I am never home.
Right.
You know what I mean? So they basically just stay at my apartment.
Yeah,
And I just
it's
pay
your
rent.
girl's apartment.
Yeah,
You
they're
sometimes
great. They're
visit.
living the dream in Los Angeles.
Honestly,
Yeah, right.
so
They
good.
think life is rough and I'm paying the rent.
Yeah,
you know what I
seriously.
mean? But yeah, everybody else I know, because you're only home for
Yeah.
maybe sometimes a month or two. You know?
Yeah, my vacations are typically 2 months at a time. So I'll work for 4 months, and then my vacation is 2 months, which usually gets cut down to 6-7 weeks, depending on how badly we're needed back on board or what
Right.
happens. And I spend 4 weeks of that traveling or more, because now I want to go on my own trips.
Yeah, good for you.
Last time I went to Los Angeles and San Francisco and Vegas. Spent like a good 6 weeks just traveling around there and hanging out, seeing friends, seeing cities,
Yeah.
just checking out the scene.
See, that's the cool part about one of the coolest things about this gig is you get to travel and see all these different places.
Oh, it's outrageous.
And then think of places you want to go to, spend time to.
Yeah.
Like I've only been to Dublin twice, but I was on a ship all the time.
Right, and you're like, oh, I need to
I
spend
need
more
like
than 6 hours
I need like
here.
a week here. Yeah, this would be a great place to spend
For
like a long
sure.
4 days or something. So like, I see places like that, I'm like, oh hell yeah. Let's
Going
go
back there for sure. Yeah, this is
Yeah.
giving a good little buffet taster sample
Yeah,
plate of
yeah,
everything.
and then you also know places that you don't want to go to, because
Yeah, I don't need to go back to China. I'm
Yeah.
good. Been there, done the wall.
See, I've never done China. I've never done any of that.
Really?
Were you over there on the ships?
Yeah, on a ship on
Okay.
Celebrity Millennium.
Okay.
I did that.
How'd that go?
It was great.
Yeah?
It was very cool. Did Japan, South Korea, and China.
Was it mostly Asian tourists and stuff?
Yeah, a lot of
It was,
Asian
right?
Asian
Okay.
guests on board. Yeah, a lot of Americans too will fly over and,
Sure.
and take their a cruise ship is a really good way to see Asia, I find.
Yeah.
Because Asia, for me, has been the place that's most different to North American culture.
Okay.
In terms of food, in terms of language, society. It's just most different. So that
Right.
culture shock is a little bit more, for me, was a little bit more significant. So it was nice to do it on a ship where you have that comfortable place to come back to. You can go out and you can travel and you can immerse and you can enjoy, and then have the comfortable, familiar place to come back to on the ship.
Do you speak any Chinese or anything?
No.
Nothing?
No.
Okay.
Nothing. Nothing at all.
That's the best.
Yeah.
It's just kind of a lot of waving.
Yeah, mostly. Yeah. I'm just like hoping you can get through it.
Yeah.
Japan was so cool. Have you been to Japan?
No, I haven't been anywhere over there.
Japan is next level. It was so easy. I don't speak Japanese either, but you go out in Japan and there's a few signs in English there, but their train system and their subway system, so easy to navigate.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. They make it real easy.
I have friends that lived there for a long time.
Yeah?
U.S. friends, yeah.
Nice.
I love Japanese food, like all real Japanese food.
Yes. It's
phenomenal.
so good. A
Yeah.
lot of times I didn't know what I was ordering.
Yeah.
You just kind of hope for the best.
Yeah.
And it was never bad.
No, it's always
It's
delicious.
always good.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
delicious.
where's your favorite place you've traveled?
I don't know, man. I've been in a lot of different places. I really like Dublin a lot. I want to go spend
Dublin's
more
cool.
time in Ireland.
Yeah.
I did Dublin, I did Cork,
Oh yeah.
and that was about it. I really love, when it comes to ports, I love Mexico. I'm a big fan of Mexican
Really?
food.
Okay.
I love the culture.
Okay.
I like it down there. I think the people were friendly.
Yeah.
I've thought about moving there.
Really?
Yeah, so I like Mexico a lot. And then the only other place I think would be, I really love Grand Turk.
Okay.
As far as an island goes.
I haven't been.
It's a laid back island, but the thing about, and I'm like, I could totally live here. It's like,
Yeah.
it would be like living on an island, but at one point when you're pulling away from that island, when you're leaving, you can see the entire island. You know, and I'm looking at it and I'm going,
okay.
oh my God, this place would be destroyed by a storm.
Yeah.
And it had been. It's been destroyed a couple of times.
Oh, I
And,
bet.
yeah, there's a couple of rows of houses that are gone. They rebuild them. They bring them back.
man.
They rebuild. Yeah, because it's just a little island in the middle of nowhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think it's, they've got that small airport that they fly you in. Turks and Caicos.
Did you go on a ship?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the ship takes you into Grand Turk, but on sometimes you fly in and out of there, but you fly a small prop plane
No way.
to the bigger airport, which is, I want to say, is Turks and Caicos.
Okay.
I can't remember off the top of my head right now. You leave Grand Turk, you end up in Turks and Caicos, and then you fly to Lake Miami or something.
Yeah.
Because they don't have big planes that go in and out of Grand Turk.
Wow. I
It's
had no
really
idea.
small.
I haven't been.
But it's the most laid back. The water is like, you can see the bottom of the boat. You know,
that.
it's so buoyant. Is the word I'm looking for? Salty. You know, heavy with
Okay,
salt. Is that
yeah.
right? You float. They have to, if you go scuba diving.
Yeah.
You have to take a class. They have to teach you a certain way to do it, because you can't just scuba dive. The water.
You can't get
float.
down there.
No, you
Yeah.
can fall asleep in the water. I've just laid in the
wild.
water and just floated.
Just because it's so dense.
Oh, it is. It's incredible.
Buoyant.
Yeah. So
Amazing.
it's like,
Ah.
yeah, I love it. So I'm laying there. Oh, I could die here.
Yeah, exactly. This is fine.
Yeah, this is great. This is all I want now. I've seen
yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
I've seen all the stuff.
I'm good. this one's for me.
Yeah, this is great.
Have you done Virgin Gorda?
No.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's off of, I'm trying to remember what island it's off of. It's one of the main kind of cruise shippy stops, but you got to take a ferry over. It's a separate island. It's called Virgin Gorda.
Okay.
And there's a cave system that you can go through with these giant, massive boulders. I'm talking like 50-foot huge rocks. And they're just carved and like smoothed out by all the water, and a lot of models will go and have shoots in this one particular kind of iconic cave.
Okay, yeah.
And it's just the most beautiful and breathtaking Caribbean spot I've ever seen, Virgin Gorda.
I always loved, because I grew up in Chicago, and it's an older city, you know what I mean, in the United States.
A lot of history, yeah.
Yeah, but when I went to Dublin, I was blown away, because I mean, that's old. And even before I did shifts, I went to Croatia for a week.
Oh,
My ex-wife is
Next
from,
level.
or my ex-wife's family's from Zagreb.
okay.
So we went there for a wedding.
Okay.
So I was in Zagreb for a week. And it was my first trip really overseas.
Yeah.
And I was blown away. I spent the first night there with the groom and the priest, and we drank plum brandy till like 4 in the morning. I mean, we got hammered. The priest had, and it was all bootleg stuff.
The priest.
with a cork. You know,
Yeah.
But we were in this cathedral that was like 1,000 years old.
With stuff someone brewed in their basement.
Yeah, just drinking this, and the priest has all the good stuff, I guess, apparently. But every building, they had all these churches that were old and buildings that were old, and I mean, I was blown away. But I'm like, no, this is history.
Yeah.
That's like old stuff.
That's old stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love all the history. I felt the same thing about London when I went to London. Like, obviously, it's a modern and new city, but so much history around you.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that's why Dublin was like that. I would like to see more of that.
Yeah, I've been to Dublin on my own, not on a ship. I was just on
Good.
vacation. When I was in London, I popped over for a quick, like it was like 48 hours.
Okay.
In Dublin, so cool. Love a Guinness.
See, and I'm a big food guy too. So
Yeah.
I had the greatest curry I ever had in my entire life in Dublin.
Really?
I couldn't believe it in Ireland, and I just got off a ship, and I wanted an English breakfast. They had I wanted a proper Irish breakfast.
Proper fry up.
Yeah. So I get off. First thing, I get a pint first thing, and then I go to this restaurant, and they go, no more breakfast, we're done for the day. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
What do you got? And they go, curry. And I just got off a ship. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't want
Yeah.
curry.
It just had curry.
Yeah, at that time I was eating in the mess, and there was everything had curry in it.
Yeah.
But they gave me this green curry that was just unbelievable, like this chicken curry on rice that was like,
And you haven't stopped thinking about it since.
oh my God, I can taste it right now.
Yeah.
And then 4 hours later I had bangers and mash, I
my
covered all the
God.
bases, yeah. Yeah, but I love, anywhere I go, I try the food, everywhere I go.
Makes sense.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's just the greatest thing in the
It's
world.
beautiful to eat around the world.
It's the greatest.
I tried at one point to eat at all the McDonald's in all the different countries.
Oh, did you
There's
really?
many different McDonald's I could
But
do.
they're all the same, don't they? Oh, they're
they're
not?
so different.
I didn't know that.
So
All right.
different. Yeah, the quality of everything, even I've found between American and Canadian, completely different.
Really?
Like a junior chicken in Canada versus a junior chicken in America, night
Yours
and
is
day.
probably way better. Of course it is. Ours is
Way
crap.
better.
No.
Yeah.
They don't use real meats at our McDonald's.
I don't know why,
In the
but I
US.
fully expected the American McDonald's to be better.
No, ours is always worse.
I was delusional.
We're the lower version of everything when it comes to food. You want good food, go anywhere else.
Go literally anywhere
Or
else.
buy your own food at a store. And, you know what I mean? Because most restaurant food, unless you go to like a fine restaurant or something.
Yeah.
But all our fast food is crap.
Well, that's one thing I miss is cooking.
I love cooking.
I haven't cooked in years. I'm sure my skills are poor at best.
You could pick it back up. I was a chef before I did stand-up.
Stop.
So I did, I was a sous chef. I wasn't a full-blown, but I was a sous chef, pastry chef. I ran lines, kitchen manager, all
Go
that stuff.
on, Lenny.
Prep cook. So usually when I go home, I cook first day.
Yeah.
Right away.
Yeah.
I love cooking.
Yeah.
I love it. And when I got this last place, I got a bigger place because the girls like to cook with me. So we have a big kitchen. So we cook together. But when I'm home, if I'm home more than 2 days, I cook something
You're
immediately.
cooking.
Yeah.
Is there a signature?
My
the
newest
Schmidt household.
Yeah, my
special?
newest one. I got to make it when I go home. My newest one. I just made it for the first time a few weeks ago. I want to make sure if I say it right. A cacio e pepe.
Ooh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, was that sausage, right?
It's a pasta.
Okay.
It's fresh, and I make it from scratch. I make fresh pasta,
Stop.
pasta machine, the whole deal. And you make it it's made with, all it is butter, cheese, and pepper. That's it.
Love. I'm in.
It's like the simplest thing in the world. So, and my daughters love these. They go to these restaurants in LA, so we get it there. I'm like, oh, this is good. So one day I go, I'm gonna make this.
I'm gonna make that.
So I made it from scratch. And I had my daughter's boyfriend over. We had a big bunch of it, and I nailed it. I was like, I'm usually really picky about everything.
Yeah.
Like every Thanksgiving I cook, and the whole meal, I'm like, oh, there's too much salt. in
No,
this.
not having
this
this.
is dry. I'm like, usually I can nail it. The last few Thanksgivings I've been good. They go, well, I nailed the turkey.
Nice.
With the cacio e pepe, I crushed.
Nice.
And I'm like, it's such a simple, like any Italian pasta dish is kind of simple.
It's beautiful in its simplicity.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you can also simply screw it up. You know what I mean? It's very delicate. So
Okay.
you got to, the littlest thing, you don't mix the dough too much, otherwise the pasta is too chewy.
Right.
Or it's too hard. You don't cook
Right.
it too long, and it's got to be al dente. It's got to. The sauce can't be burnt. You can burn the butter. There's a million things you can do wrong, but it's just 3 ingredients, nice and simple. Bam, 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 and it's done.
And
if you do it right, it's phenomenal.
You did it all right that day. Well done.
Oh, thank you. And I watch a lot of cooking shows. So I watch cooking shows constantly.
Okay.
Yeah, I used to watch the Food Network all the time.
We used to have that on board, and that would be a good just stick it on.
It's a good one to have
cabin.
on all day, but now they're
Yeah.
all competition shows anyway. It's
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
my brother does a bit about that. It's like every show is like, who makes the best pasta? First, fight! And you're like, okay, all right.
Fold my
This is old chef.
folding the cheese.
shaking
Yeah,
his
exactly.
hands.
She's like, I just want to talk about
I
the
just made sausage! Some kid kicks his butt.
Oh, and then you get those 9-year-old chefs in.
What's your specialty?
Cue the silence. Truly, I don't cook I love a salmon. I've recently discovered the delights of an air fryer.
Salmon's another one of those simple
Salmon,
things.
yeah, right? So good. But no, wait, I did, during pandemic, I was, again, home for a long time, so picked up some regular household skills.
Yeah.
And I was cooking this really nice chickpea curry. With
That sounds good.
Yeah, it was real good. Chickpeas, there was coconut milk in
Oh,
there.
I love coconut.
Little
Oh my God, that
spinach
sounds
and
really good.
tomatoes. It was very simple. Sometimes I put it on rice, sometimes I just ate it.
Yeah.
It was, real good.
That's good. Plus a
Real
lot of
good.
protein.
A lot of protein.
You know what I mean?
Love a good protein.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've just become vegetarian.
Oh,
I say
really?
just, but it's been about a year.
Okay. How's it
So
going?
it's good.
Yeah.
Not enough protein in my life. Discovered that lately.
Yeah?
Yeah, I've been pounding
Beans?
the shakes. Beans.
Like beans?
Yeah, but how many beans can you have?
Well, I was vegetarian for a year, but I made beans 100 different ways.
Yeah,
I made
that's
a lot of. I used to make this thing called. My daughter called it roux.
Okay.
I don't know why she called it roux.
Okay.
It used to be made with. It was simply ground turkey and then a combination of 5 or 6 different beans,
Okay.
and then usually a little bit of tomato, some salt, some pepper, a lot of garlic.
Love.
You know what I mean? But it was basically a bowl full of protein, and I used to eat a lot before I went and lifted weights. And then when I became a vegetarian, I just took out the turkey.
Yeah.
And just
got
added
beans.
more. And I was
Chili.
really heavy on white or cannoli beans. Cannoli beans? Cannoli beans. White beans.
I can't help you. I really wish I could hop in here and help you. I
you're
don't know what
watching me
bean you're
suffer.
talking about. Yeah.
I'm enjoying watching you suffer. Right?
Yeah.
Can.
I thought you were going for canola oil for a second there.
I don't know.
I didn't know how to help. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
It's the white beans.
It's a white bean.
Got it.
But there's a million different ways. There's a lot of different ways you can use beans. I made a lot of bean
beans.
soups, bean stews.
I do love a good chili, like a hearty.
You can make a great vegetarian chili.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah, a lot of
You know what I
mushrooms
mean?
in there. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was doing pretty good when I was home. I was cooking with I was doing tofu. I love a tempeh steak. Love a good tempeh steak.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, you can do vegetarian. It's pretty easy to do on here. On the show.
Yeah,
not
it's
that
easy.
difficult.
It's easy, just not so you get a lot of the same thing every day.
Yeah, you'd have to get
Yeah.
a lot of repetition.
Because for our guests, there's a different menu every day.
Right.
But then for us,
Right.
the next week it's that different menu every day.
Right.
Again.
Like I went up for lunch today. I say if I wanted fish. I want some fish. I go,
Yeah.
oh, it's that pineapple fish. Today.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly.
that.
Oh, it's the day one pineapple fish.
I mean,
of
it's
course,
good,
yeah.
but
But you had
once
it
you have it, yeah, right.
4 days ago,
Yeah,
and then
you'll-
3 days before that.
You're right. Yeah, you can only have it so many times.
Yeah, exactly. It's Mexican day again. Cool.
What do I always tell people? Like when I first started working on ships, it took me about 2 weeks to learn this. How to eat right on a ship, even if whether you're eating meat or not.
Oh, yeah, because you get the buffet right there. You got
Oh,
cakes and all the decadent stuff just available.
well, there's all kinds. Even the entrees, just anything with sauces and fried, and you just gotta be or breaded sauces, fried, breaded. If you look around, it's all up there.
All of it.
But
all of
if
it.
if you're looking for the right food,
Yeah.
it's actually really easy to eat healthy on here.
Oh, it
There's
is,
tons
for
of
sure.
fresh vegetables and
Yeah.
fruit on here.
Oh, absolutely,
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
The amount of grapes and cheese platters and the fresh salad bars and
Yeah.
all sorts, yeah. It's really good. You just have to say no to the temptations.
Yeah, just be smart enough.
Yeah.
So I find I do better repeating eating vegetables and fruits than I do some of the stews or some of the heavier I like a good carbonara.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But man, that'll kill you.
Oh, yeah. No, truly, it will. And you can't.
It's literally everything that's bad for you on pasta.
On top of pasta.
Cream and bacon and it sounds delicious.
Sounds tasty.
Your heart's going, no.
Well, one of our other guest entertainers, you know him, Ryan Joyce,
Yes.
magician,
Yeah.
wonderful guy.
Oh, he's vegetarian. That's
He's
right.
vegetarian, yeah, and he has a bit in his show about, and I've yet to fact check him on this, but I'll believe him because he's a trustworthy guy. He's Canadian.
You guys stick together.
Yeah, we really do. You gotta unite, you know.
Good for you.
But he says that the average cruise ship passenger weight gain is 1.1 pounds per day.
Oh, that makes sense.
Per day, because you're just exposed to so much the goodness.
Well, it's not just food; it's the booze too. If they're drinking,
That's true. I didn't think of
those
that.
are empty calories. I mean, if you have at the end of the night you have 6 drinks, that's probably, depending on what you're drinking, that's 1,000 calories right there.
And the martini bar is right there.
Yeah, but at least martini vodka is not that much calories. That's why.
Well, see, I wouldn't do that though. I would do like the sugary, sweet,
that stuff will
like
kill
give
you.
me the apple
You gotta go
mango
straight vodka.
martini. No, I can't. Just thinking about that.
The only problem is after 2 of them, you're but there's no saying. I can't say it. I don't think I can say it. I can't remember it. I can do 2 martinis, but if I have a third, I've made a mistake.
1 martini, 2 martini, 3 martini, 4.
Yeah, that's it. That's one. That's one saying. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I find, once I get past 2 drinks, if I go for the 3rd drink, it's on.
Oh, I know it now. Martinis are like breasts. 1 is not enough, 2 is perfect, 3 is too many.
3 is too many. How do you can't, there's nothing, you can't handle that many.
No, now it's like a science fiction movie.
It got weird all of a sudden. I don't know what just happened.
Sorry, show went south at the 40-minute mark.
Yeah. No, but yeah, there's a lot of temptation on a ship, but lots of options to make the right choices as well.
Right.
Yeah. Just like in life. What a metaphor.
Yes, see?
What a beautiful metaphor.
Look how you almost bring it in full circle, the whole thing.
So welcome.
We're right back to positive thinking, state of mind.
State of mind.
The mind is the most powerful
thing.
thing.
Happiness.
Said that's right. Choose happiness.
It's a good way to live.
So they're going to be bumming to lose you. Although the good thing about you is when you leave, they're building shifts left and right. So
left, right, and center, baby. Yeah. And this is the one thing I love about working here is that there is so much room for growth and opportunity. Like, as I said, I walked on with 0 microphone skills, and I'm now like at home on a mic.
Yeah, you've adapted very well.
Thank you. So there's a ton of people who are coming up in the ranks, and like me moving on to my next thing leaves space for someone else to move into that space, and maybe they've been working for years to become a cruise director, and now is their time in their window. So that's the positivity I'm looking at it with.
That's good. See, it's cool for the guests too. You guys get. I just started doing celebrity, so I'm only maybe about a year and a half into them, but I'm heavy this year, next year.
Yeah.
But every cruise line kind of has their loyalists. You know what I mean?
100%. Oh, yeah.
You get people that will only cruise celebrity. And what I've noticed, we talked about this a little bit the last time I was here. You guys have a tremendous amount of first-time celebrity cruisers.
Right now, yeah. So this ship is doing those 3-4 day itineraries, like you said, which is quite new to us. We don't do it very often.
Right.
And yeah, of our 3,500 guests this cruise, about 3,000 of them are first timers to celebrity.
Man, that's a lot.
Lots.
You know what I mean? That's crazy.
Lots on their first cruises. They're just sort of dipping the toe in. If you're going to try out something new for the first time, you might as well make it short and sweet.
Yeah.
See if you like it, and then commit. And a lot of people. It just means education. Just means teaching them. Just means showing them a good old time.
Yeah. Well, I knew
pressure.
When I did last week was the 3-day, so when I did that show, I ask it, usually during a show, I'll ask who's on their first cruise.
Yeah.
And it was a lot. It was like 80% of the crowd.
Done. Yeah.
But again, the more I've been working on ships maybe about 10, 12 years.
Wow, really?
And it's such a great way to travel. It's
such a good way
I
to
have
travel.
so many people that do it. It's funny to me because there's people that swear by it. They've been cruising forever. And I know other people that are like, they're the ships of the devil. It's the worst.
Right, yeah.
It's like a big cesspool, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, cesspool,
and I'll go, how many cruises have you taken? And they'll go, I've never been on a cruise. Like, well, then shut up. You don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know anything about being on a ship.
The amount of times I'll hear, mostly from kids to be fair, but like on the first day walking around, kids will go, when are we getting on the boat? And the mom's like,
I didn't think of that.
We've been here, babe.
Yeah, if you're a kid, I couldn't see that.
Yeah, because it doesn't feel like a ship,
No.
right? Like every so often you get a little bit of rockiness and whatnot, but it's like it's a city.
Yeah.
There are shops, there's a whole spa, there are pools, there's open deck, there's restaurants.
It's a huge subdivision floating on the ocean right now. And you're right, you don't notice it unless you're on the side looking at the water.
Exactly, yeah.
And you only really kind of feel it going in and going out of port.
Yeah,
sort of.
yeah,
You know what I
exactly.
mean?
Feel the
That's so
rumble.
funny, man. I never thought about a kid's point of view on that.
Yeah, it's like, when are we getting on the boat?
Plus, when you're a kid, everything is so huge.
Yeah.
Have you ever gone back and seen something when you were a kid and you look at it, you're like, this is it?
A bit small.
My old house, like the living room. We lived in this place?
Because
Small.
you're just little.
Yeah.
The world's a big place.
The world's gigantic to you. You're
Yeah.
enormous. So any kid in this theater or walking around a ship has got to be blown away, let alone standing next to it, looking at
Yeah.
it. You know,
I always think about the little kids on board as well. Doing things like coming to their first comedy show.
Yeah.
Maybe you get the 5 and 6 year olds, but the 10, 12 year olds, I'm sure, haven't been to a comedy show. Not a lot of opportunities for a 10-year-old to go to a comedy show.
Right.
So you must get a lot of kids seeing you for the first time, and you're probably inspiring some kids out there to be like, oh, I want to be a comedian.
I don't know. I hope so. I hear it a lot. Every once in a while, I'll hear from a parent that'll say their kid wanted to. And
Yeah.
I used to work with kids. I used to teach kids
Oh, no way.
comedy and improv, and I used to teach all that
So
stuff.
cool.
and I loved it.
Yeah.
If I could have marketed that skill to make enough money, I would still be doing it.
Aww.
It was easily the most rewarding thing
Yeah.
I've ever done. The kids are so excited. They're so when there's a certain age, man, from the age of say 4 till about maybe 10 or 11, around those ages. They'll try anything and just try to be funny.
Yeah, their little brain is soft.
Yeah,
they're ready to go.
And then after that, they're a little worried about what people are thinking about. You know, so. But to work with them and to give them the freedom to do whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
So I love when there's kids at the show.
Love.
I talk to them every time. I always say something every time. I love, especially like it's sort of weird, but like girls, little young teen girls.
Yeah.
Have daughters.
Yeah,
so
of course, yeah.
It's like talking to my daughters. It's the same exact,
Yeah, it's right in your wheelhouse.
Yeah, it's perfect for me. I lived that life for years.
Right. Yeah.
So I love talking to kids running a cruise ship. But yeah, lots of times these kids are blown away. And a lot of adults, I've seen a few adults come in with it's their first comedy show ever.
So good.
It's funny because on the cruise ship, you know, we don't charge for the entertainment.
No.
You know,
No.
people just walk in, and it's not just comedy. And the top of the shows, and you guys do this thing with the aerial stuff,
acrobats
which
and
is
all that,
insane. I want to have a heart attack every time I'm watching the show.
I know, me too, every time. I see it repeatedly every week, and I know they're good.
I know.
But I'm
I know.
just afraid
It
that
just
they're going
scares
to
the
fall on
crap
their
out of me.
head. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll see the same move every week.
Okay, thank goodness you caught her. Thank you.
Yeah. I feel like when my kids were at the playground, I would be like, "Are you all right? You okay?
You're having fun? Okay, perfect.
All right, you know, I'm not gonna,
good over here, too,
look
yeah.
every 5 minutes to make sure she's still there. Yeah, okay.
Still standing upright? Perfect.
Yeah, but it's just, but anyway, it's the first time a lot of people see live shows, which I also think is cool. I hope people leave here and then go back to land and go see live shows somewhere.
I hope so, too.
That's,
yeah.
you know, I always worry about the future of live entertainment because of, ironically, stuff like this.
Yeah.
There's so much stuff that we do digitally now. You can grab your phone and watch a video or a podcast or whatever, but live entertainment is so much better.
Yeah.
It's great to see anyone.
It really, it's magic. It really is. It's getting very expensive these days.
Yeah.
But it's magical to see live performers. I'm just in awe every time. And even like our production cast, like you mentioned, I watch their shows every week. They do the same shows over and over for the new guests, and I come and watch them every time.
Right.
Because it's just mesmerizing to watch them.
Yeah.
Like people who have dedicated years to their craft, whether it be comedy or magic or acrobatics or dancing or singing or whatever it is, to do their thing on the stage, I think is so cool.
Well, I'm always amazed to see how accurate and how perfect they are every show. You know what I mean?
Right?
Like you go, and they don't look bored. I mean, they do the same. You're doing the same. I was always amazed with plays. I don't know. Like I never did many plays. I did improv on stage, and I did TV and film. But plays, I'll be like, I don't know if I could do a play. I don't know if I could do.
You got your marks that you hit in your shows too, though, right?
Yeah, I now that I look back, I could do it. As I've gotten older, I look back and I go, I could probably do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the thing with the show for me is I'm in charge of the show.
That is true. You don't have anyone else relying on you.
And if something else happens, I can break pattern and do something else.
Yeah.
Or go into the crowd or not. So I'm in complete control of that. So it's a different mindset in a way. But to watch these guys, and they're so young. These kids are so young.
A lot of them, it's their first job, their first professional job.
Yeah, but how great it's so cool.
Oh, so cool. They're traveling the whole world.
Yeah.
And dancing and singing and doing what they love to do. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? It's not just the playlist performers. More than them, and no disrespect to the players, but they're phenomenal. The musicians, more than anything on here, blow me away because they do the shows, but then they have to work with new guest entertainers every single week or every cruise and learn new songs, new lines, new papers, new whatever.
And they get the charts often like
the
afternoon of the show.
Sometimes a couple hours before the show.
Yeah. So their rehearsal will be at like 3, 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
For their 7 o'clock show.
Yeah. And they're so good, they just pick it right up.
Yeah, they read. I didn't realize that reading music as you're playing isn't something every musician has. That's not a skill every musician has.
Right, no.
A lot of them play by ear or have practiced the song so they know it. These musicians in the orchestras on the stage, they need to be able to read a chart and play it at the same time, and it's a wild skill.
It's amazing. Are they required to read? They have to be able to read the music?
The orchestra musicians have to be able to read. The venue musicians don't because they can prepare their songbooks ahead of time, and they're like you. They can play on their own script, like as a band or as a unit, can do their own thing. But the guys on stage, they have to, and they got to play everything from classical to pop to rock and roll to reggae. Anything a guest tank could come on board and throw at them, they got to be able to play it.
Yeah, I don't know how you read. I could never understood that. I mean, that blows me. But playing by ear is pretty amazing too, because I think I'm tone deaf. I could never.
Oh, no.
I could never.
Yeah.
I could never.
Yeah.
That's a C, you know.
Yeah,
There's guys that hear that.
That's
like,
clearly
you go
a
C
B
minor,
flat.
you know. Right, you know what I mean? I go, what do you mean minor?
I don't know
Flat?
what that
What?
means.
I don't. Oh, all right.
And then you see these guys, like, have you seen, I think it's Charlie Puth.
Okay.
He went on Jimmy Fallon talk show, and he, like, hit a spoon against a cup and recorded it, and then put it into his little computer system and built a song out of this one noise, because he, like, pitched it up and pitched it down and repeated it and looped it and, like, made a literal beat in a whole song, and then made up some lyrics on the spot over top of it. And people just have that skill.
No way.
Yeah.
Dude, you know what? There's a great video. You gotta look for it on YouTube. Is Jim Morrison? It's an interview with Jim Morrison back in the '60s.
Yeah.
And he says someday, someday it won't be so much about the individual, the musician, or the instrument. Someday there will be machines or computers that will make music, and one person could do a whole song. And people are like, "You're crazy." He's like, "No, this is really
no
this
way.
is yeah." And he's explaining the whole. He's basically explaining. David Bowie has a similar YouTube as well, where he talks about the same thing about music. And David Bowie does it even more so, where he talks about celebrity. He's like, someday it's going to be important that you're famous, not that you do something.
Not that you're good, yeah.
Because you could be just famous. Well, famous for what? Just for being famous. That's stupid. Well, that's what's going to happen. But Morrison's thing is great. It's explaining the whole music thing. No, it'll be the future of computers. The machine will take the music and will find a way to make a song. And one person could create an entire symphony with the machine, with the computer, with technology. Technology is headed that way.
How did he know that?
That's mind blowing when you think about it. Because the image that everybody has of Jim Morrison is the guy, he died at 26, he used drugs and blah, 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 blah.
You're right, yeah.
But, he also was a savant. These guys are brilliant musicians back in their day.
Right.
They were famous for a reason, Now, back then, you had to have the talent.
Had to be that good, yeah. You didn't have a marketing machine behind you helping you out. It was just...
Right, and you couldn't, there was no auto-tune, there was none of that.
Yeah, none of that.
And you performed live, and you grabbed an instrument, you had to be able to play it and perform in front of a bunch of people.
And have enough people want to talk about it.
Right, and people that, and carry that
enough to
forward. And there was no viral. There was, it took,
you go viral, like, in person.
You were
like,
viral in the moment, and then it was over.
Gotta create a new moment.
Yeah, that's exactly how it was.
Yeah.
Just like that.
I imagine everyone in the 70s talked like that.
That's exactly how they stand.
Yeah.
That's how they all talk. I'm going to create a new moment right now.
A new one.
Everyone stay with me. All right, let's wrap this up. This was great, man. We did almost.
Was fun.
Oh my god, we did almost an hour.
Did we?
Cool. Yeah, it goes fast.
Flew by.
See, all right. First of all, how much longer are you on here? This your last one?
I'm here for another 4 days.
Oh, so you leave?
Yeah, this is my last cruise.
You're out. That's right. I'm glad I brought the stuff. I'm glad we could do this today.
I know. Yeah, that worked out well.
Well, first of all, do me a favor. Look right to the camera and plug anything you want to plug socially. Your Instagram.
Socially, yeah. Follow
something?
me, Brittany from Canada. Brittany, T-T-A-N-Y from Canada. I'll be on there. I am going to launch that podcast. I've been doing a little bit of work on it. I'm going to make it happen. I will talk about it on there on Instagram. Follow along. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's next for
That's
me,
good.
what my career is, but I'm going to go any direction. Wherever I can talk into a microphone or talk at people, that's my plan. So,
I love that. I miss that feeling.
Yeah.
I miss that. I don't know what's next, but something.
Oh, whimsical.
All right. Thanks, Brittany.
Thank you, Lenny. Good to be on the podcast.
Thank you. Good to have you. You're still watching? That's amazing. Nobody does that. Nobody, but you did. That means you want more. Pick one of these clips. Go for it. I dare you. Hey, also follow one of those social media thingies.